gaan jullie luisteren hoor.
Good afternoon and welcome to our third info session already regarding the current Covid-19 crisis, if we can call it like that. So today what we want to do is just give you a few updates that were already mentioned also in the email, but I think the most important element that we wish to do is also give you the possibility to potentially answer or post questions, for example, on which we can directly give an answer or on which we have to work further on. Important also, what we decided this week is that we will do these weekly webinars, also for the coming weeks, because we feel it's important that we try to be in touch with all of you as much as possible, just to make sure we keep each other the best possible way updated. So every Thursday at 12 o'clock Central European Time, this webinars will happen. Okay. On the agenda today is I would like to go briefly over the decisions that were taken during the last board meeting that we had on Monday. Just an update, but you received this all via email. But yesterday, for example, during the webinar on the remote professional practice, it turned out that potentially not everybody read through the email in much detail. So we want to clarify on that and also to provide some additional other updates. Yep. So let me start with the agenda. First of all, I would like to kind of stress the importance of updating the whereabouts. Most of you do this correctly, but please keep on doing so. So if you move location, if your contact details or other details are changing, please complete them through the form on the whereabouts. You can find the form still on our website. So if you go to the website of IMBRSea and there you click on the element which is related to the Covid-19 measures that we have taken, there you can find the URL. So keep on doing this because we get as a coordination office many questions from different countries, for example, that need regular updates on where our students are. So that's and then a few general updates I would like to give, and then finally this time for questions and hopefully answers as well. So as mentioned during the webinar yesterday, and also as you received in an email, so on Monday we had a very important and quite long board meeting with the full IMBRSea board, and I just would like to go briefly still over the major decisions that were taken during that board meeting. Regarding the professional practice, we decided that there will be 3 options available. So students will be able to take a remote professional practice. They can continue their normal professional practice under changed circumstances, for example, or finally they could also potentially pause their studies for 1 year. If you want to know more about the professional practices, we're not going to repeat everything in this webinar, but then regarding thesis, there were quite a few important things decided. So first, something on the submission dates. So people that submit their thesis in the first session, which we still recommend, and also we have informed also the promoters of the thesis about this. The submission deadline has shifted with 10 days. So the submission date will be the 15th of June instead of the original 5th of June. Students that submit during the second session, there the deadline remains the 3rd of August. For people that submit their thesis in the first session, there will be online presentations organized, so public online presentations where readers and where evaluators of the different member universities will be present and will evaluate how you're presenting, how you're engaging, and also how you answer potential questions during an online discussion. So exact dates, for example, and an exact schedule will be provided later. The point is that from Ghent University we got the regulation that the 5th of July is the ultimate date that we can award diplomas in the first session. So most probably the thesis presentations will be organized, and that's like with a 99% certainty, on the 1st and the 2nd of July. Depending also, of course, on the amount of theses that are submitted and that need to be presented already in the first session. So the 1st and the 2nd of July thesis presentations, with the aim that on the 3rd of July we can do the award of the first group of diplomas for those people that have finished every component of their studies of the IMBRSea program. Yeah. People that submit in the second session, so the 3rd of August, those people will present their thesis during the annual symposium, which has been moved, that's my next agenda point, to the last week of August. Exact dates will be communicated probably early next week of that changed symposium. Right now we're still waiting for a final confirmation on possibilities and dates, for example, from the University of the Algarve, that has to check, for example, availability of bedrooms, for example, etc., in the different dorms. Yeah. So for sure the symposium will be organized in the week of 24 August. So this is the week you can already mark in your agendas. People that have submitted their thesis in the first session, and that have done already an online presentation, of course, are also still welcome during the symposium. And also for those people, there will be the opportunity to still present their results of their thesis. And for example, we also decided, for example, that the best presentation award this year will be shifted towards, and will be only awarded at the end of the year. In case the best presentation was an online one, that's still possible, for example. But we want to give everyone at least the opportunity to take part in this part. So for the remote professional practices and the professional practices, there the idea is that we will organize a online exhibition in some way or another. We're still looking into different formats and the feasibility. And during the first week of July, we will actually do the presentation. We will organize this remote exhibition, or this online exhibition of the results that were obtained. Note that these will be, again, personal presentations, so that's something to keep in mind as well. But more details also will follow on this. Then another important element for the first year students is that we have moved the deadline for submission of your thesis topics. Thesis topics of the thesis you will carry out next year to the 1st of July. For all students, so whether you take your thesis in a new associate partner or an existing associate partner, the deadline will be 1st of July. I know there is people that wonder whether it's doable to find, for example, a topic, and certain people do not want to commit. The idea is that by then everybody submits a topic, but of course, depending on how the situation is changing, we will still allow for potential changes in the plan of the topic in case this would be needed, depending on how the situation is changing. So, but still the idea is that at least everybody submits something. So please contact your supervisor or potential supervisors if you did not do so. If they did not answer already, send them again an email. I know it's tricky sometimes, but as far as we know, and as I see, for example, from our daily work, and that's not only related to IMBRSea, we see that there's the response rate of the different colleagues is quite high. So I would say, okay, if you contact them, the probabilities that you reach them are quite high as well. Then go on as planned, so you can, for the moment, I would say, still book your tickets, your mobilities. In the coming weeks, we will also look into the different subjects that will be, and confirm also the different teachers that will take part in the summer schools. Then many of you are busy with, have been doing data input in the marine training portal. Right now we have over 1,000 records that have been entered already, which is really a lot. Yesterday we had actually a meeting with an editorial team that will, in the coming days and week, go through all the records and approve these, or potentially ask for some additional updates, for example, small updates, or for example, if the records are totally not within the scope, they may be rejected. So there the whole procedure remains the same, so that payment dates, etc., nothing has been changed on this, and so this activity continues. Another kind of important element that we just want to highlight is that in 4 days time, so 4 or 5 days time, the 31st of March, we're closing the second session of applications for the coming year of IMBRSea. So if you still know people that are interested to join this study program, and I hope you're still at least a bit enthusiastic of the study program you're taking, please share this information as well, and you can confirm to potential students that you know that the program does continue under the new format. The good news there is, for example, also that the study program, but also the agreement, the consortium agreement, for example, is now in its last phase for approval, and that there's no reasons to assume that these things would not get signed by the start of the next academic year. We get quite a few questions about reset exams. Reset exams that would be organized the week before the annual symposium. Of course, physically this will not be possible anymore. So, for example, at Ghent University, they are now exploring also what alternative types of exams can be organized. And so we will also in the coming weeks update people that have reset exams, for example, on how this will happen. Most probably this will happen through communications with the individual universities and not at a consortium level, but still there we are waiting for input. I just want to clarify this. Yeah? And then finally, that's maybe an alternative point, is in a way, you know, we have different communication channels, and communication is an important element in our program. And in this sense, maybe why not, for example, if you have interesting news potentially to share broader, we get quite a few questions, from communication officers as well, that want to know how it is for the moment to study in an international program. So in this sense, how are you surviving is maybe a broad question, but if you have interesting things you want to share, not only maybe your views of your room, for example, but other stories that you want to share on how in a creative way you are actually dealing with the current situation in your study program, please feel free to share this, so we can potentially also share it on our regular communication channels. This was it in terms of major communication that we want to make to you. And so now actually I would like to leave the floor for potential questions you have and that we can take now. Justin has a question: if you can't submit in June and must submit in August, can you still present online, or it will be at the symposium? The idea is that if you submit in August, the default way would be the symposium. In case there is strong reasons why you cannot make it to the annual symposium, of course, also during the annual symposium we will try to explore what potential ways there are to present online. Also would like to remind that we actually have shifted the annual symposium on the basis of strong request from the student community as well. So that's a bit the reasons for that. Yeah. Let's see if there's other questions coming in. Okay, there's a question from Marion. Yesterday you said that you will be able to give us a document explaining the situation in order to be refunded flight ticket. Is that still okay? Yes, this afternoon it's on the to-do list for today. So this afternoon we will share on everybody's eConsort homepage, for example, and your student page. Yeah, the document will be available. That actually a document that says that the annual symposium has been shifted, for example, due to the current situation, and that is based on a decision that was taken by the IMBRSea board. So this is planned for today, don't worry. Sam de Smet, how will the online presentations look like? Any idea of platform and format? Right now, via Ghent University, there's a number of proposals that are made, and also we are, for example, as you see, we're using streaming things via YouTube. So the idea would be, as a normal presentation during an annual symposium is also a public presentation that is streamed publicly. So there we're exploring public presentations via one of our YouTube streams. Yeah, and but we will provide you information, for example, where you can log in to make it as easy as possible for you. So we're currently actually exploring different tools that allows for this in an easy way, and of course we will also provide you with tests before we do the real streaming. So we would like with every person that has to do an online presentation a test. So I'm quite confident that this should work, because with online presentations we've had also experiences in previous years, and I must say that if I look at the current technology that we're using, that things go quite smooth in this sense. Yep. I see that today there's not much questions, so that's maybe good, because it means that the information that we provided to you got to you in a clear way, and that there seems to be not too much misunderstandings, which is good. Anyway, if you would still have more questions, yeah, there's something coming in from Marion. I wait for the rest of the question. Yesterday Arnaud asked you it would be possible to postpone the professional practice to next year, continue the third semester and do the thesis on the third year. You said yes, that's an option. Could you confirm? Carmela, in a way yes, but maybe what the best way would be, because it's quite a complex scenario, is that maybe we kind of include this also as a potential extra option on the professional practice and communicate this to everyone what it would imply. I think that's the easiest. We will look into this and in the coming days, at latest by Monday, give a full scenario on that. So the idea is that by the 15th of April still that you take a decision. Yeah, so the idea is indeed that by tomorrow we will do our best to get the things ready on the Matix platform to start selecting subject. That's correct, but there we're a bit depending on our technical team that is looking into Matix. So in case we do not make it by tomorrow to get everything in Matix, for sure early next week this will be doable. Yeah, but keep in mind that it's only on the 15th of April that actually that the deadline is, and so I think we're quite in time there. Justin, for those strongly affected and may have to slightly change the topic, how flexible is the date for submitting our reviewers. Yeah, 3rd of April. We actually stuck. We kept that date because here it's not you who is submitting the reviewers, it's your promoters, and we trust that your promoters, they are in contact with people that potentially are good supervisors that can submit this information. So your supervisors, even if you slightly change your topic, for example, I think they know people that are able to submit or review your theses. Yeah. Kim, just to confirm, if we hand in our thesis by the first submission date and defend it during an online presentation, second-year students are not required to take part in the symposium. That's indeed true. We cannot force you to take part in the symposium, but of course we hope that we will have a big group. A big group that will be present there. Yeah. Cecilia, second year, are co-supervisors allowed to suggest readers for our thesis? We have sent an email to the supervisors with guidelines and also with explanation where and how they have to submit the information. I think the co-supervisor can for sure direct that information to the main supervisor, the promoter of the thesis, so I don't mind from where the suggestions are coming. We just have to make sure that the things are entered in the platform as they should. Note that you can maybe inform also your supervisor, but they were informed already on this, is that the readers will have to confirm as well that they are indeed willing to read your thesis. So there's an extra step, which is a new step compared to previous years, that there is an extra confirmation there. Yeah. Anjali, for those who might need to extend their visa just in case, would you be able to provide us with a letter for the same for the respective embassies? I think, Anjali, that's quite a specific question, and there we will actually need, I think it's good to send your situation, then your case specifically to the UGANT, to the coordination office, and then we can indeed provide you with a letter as far as we're able, of course, to do so. We can just make a statement that you're currently in the context of your studies in a certain area, for example, and the studies are continued like they are indeed doing. About the document you will send us to be refund, can it also be used to get refund for the flights booked for the professional practice? I think you're quite free. We can include maybe in the document, it's a good suggestion that we make a slightly separate document for first year and second year students, so that and for first year students we indeed mention that the professional practice is not going to be like there is. Yeah. Paul's sent the question, if I'm not wrong, those going to the second summer school will have to go directly from there to the symposium, right? The symposium is not obligatory, first of all, for first year students. I think that's an important one. And then it will be also, in my case, for example, and in case of teachers, it will be kind of indeed directly going, or with maybe one day in between, from the summer school to the annual symposium. That's indeed correct. Yeah. Cecilia, second year students, when is the deadline to decide when we will submit your thesis, our thesis? Actually, there's not really a deadline. If we see that your thesis is not submitted by the 15th of June, automatically you're transferred to the second session. So there is no need to confirm actually when you submit your thesis. So it's no thesis handed in by the deadline, and the deadline is quite strict. Mostly it's 12 or 4 p.m. If it's and at 4 p.m. for example, then the system closes, and that's it. If you did not submit anything by then, automatically you're referred to the second session. If you do not manage to submit by the second session, automatically it means that you do not submit your thesis. It means you have to re-enroll for one semester, in order to be able to submit your thesis then in end of December 2020. Let's see if there's more questions coming in. you were not able to watch or to follow live, yeah, you can communicate to your colleagues or also to your thesis supervisors, for example, that they can watch these webinars. We do them on purpose on YouTube on a live and a public platform, so you're able to share this with, for example, your family or with supervisors in professional practice or in thesis, so that everybody can be updated on what is happening. Yeah. In order to do our original professional practice but in a remote way, do we already have a document agreement prepared for our supervisors to assign? Right now, not, Laura. As I mentioned, 15th of April is there, the deadline. And so in the coming days, we will, I hopefully have something ready. The document you're talking about, I think the agreement is something where your supervisor states that he can do the professional practice and supervise you, and also do it within the correct and the original framework. In a way, we were actually not planning for that one to have kind of something pre-prepared. So it's actually a letter that your supervisor should make, but maybe it's a good suggestion indeed, and we will discuss this within our team, to at least have some statements or to have some kind of points that should be mentioned in the document and should be filled in, and then supervisors are still able and free to add more details if needed or more conditions if needed. Yeah. I see no more urgent questions are coming in. So then I think still a question from Marion. To be sure, if we do the remote professional practice, we don't have to do anything documents right. Yes, that's correct, indeed. So you will see, for example, that in the practice. So in terms of paperwork, there's nothing to be done on this. This afternoon, the email will also go out to the different supervisors, for example, where we will inform them about the situation. Yeah. Okay. I go to their platform, to their Matix platform. They will see the button where they can report on changes in the progress reports. So there, the idea that you like as they look. Yeah. Note that we are not going to confirm or to evaluate these things. It's just for you a reporting tool where you can on a weekly basis or on a regular basis give some information. So afterwards there is a clear track record of the things that have happened during your thesis. Yep. Okay. I think we can close it as I mentioned here. So see you next week. And still feel free to contact us via the regular media, and as I mentioned, if you have interesting things to share on how you get in touch with each other, stay in touch with each other, for example, during these days, feel free to share it also with us, so we can maybe also share it on our communication platforms. Thank you very much, and stay safe, and yeah, good luck in the coming days. Bye bye.